My new book, Pillars for Life, A Guide to Spiritual Ethics and Practice, is now out and available for you to read and purchase. You can check out our website, willowhealing.org, to find a link, or you can find it on Amazon. We look forward to getting your feedback, and if you love it, please leave a review and share with your friends. Now it's time for the show. Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine Cristani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I am joined by the lovely Nicola Beer, and she is a trauma-informed therapist, a relationship specialist, and a psychedelic retreat facilitator with over 20 years of experience supporting individuals and couples through anxiety, emotional pain, betrayal, and burnout. Her work blends trauma therapy with plant medicine, which is, I can never say this, psilocybin mushrooms and San Pedro, a cactus, to help people heal core wounds, break unhealthy patterns, and connect to themselves and others. Passionate about the intersection of love, mental health, and spiritual growth, Nicola offers deep, heart-centered support for those seeking real change. So a big welcome to the show, Nicola.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
That one always gets me. I don't know why. It's just like I see it and there's like too many S's and C's and Y's. I don't know
It
why.
was difficult for me to spell psilocybin at the beginning as well. I kept spelling it wrong. So yeah, it's a funny word.
It is a funny word. I agree, but it's funny. It gets me every time. But but welcome, and I feel there's a lot to unpack in your little bio. So what kind of started you on your journey to becoming a trauma-informed therapist, and then, you know, adding psychedelics and devolving your practice?
Sure. So it started really, I guess, from my childhood. Growing up, my mum had bipolar, but it was undiagnosed at the time. And she was often very aggressive and then sometimes really depressed and sad. She just couldn't cope. She had, there's four, I'm one of five children, and four of us were really close together. So there was like one was 2 years old, one was 4, one was 6, one was 8. So she was constantly stressed, constantly angry, would sometimes hit me, shout at me. And so I had really low self-esteem as a consequence. When I was in my teens, I then went on to develop eating disorders. And the area that it really affected the most for me was my relationships. I found it really hard to trust people. Even in my friendships, I had good friendships, but I had to be invited to things. I didn't feel like I was scared to be a burden. And I think that was one of the biggest fears that I carried in life is I didn't ever want to be in someone's way. Because as a child, like, I really felt like, God, I'm really making my mum mad. I'm making her angry. I'm in her way. And so I was naturally drawn to helping people with relationships because that was an area that I really needed to grow in. And I found it so difficult because I'd really want to be in a loving relationship. I'd fantasize, about being married and having this dream relationship, but I kept sabotaging it. When good people came along, I would end the relationship before it could get started. I'd find excuses, and the excuses were really just fear. I'd see red flags everywhere. And so after doing traditional counseling and talk therapy, it wasn't really working for me. And so then I started to do somatic trauma-informed therapy work. And then that really helped me to see that all of my kind of dating patterns, relationship patterns, cycles, even the way that I talk to myself, manage my life, were a result of my childhood trauma. And so working through that and releasing that trauma from the body was what really started to help me and really made a huge difference. So
Yeah, and that's a powerful story. And I think it really highlights to people how your childhood can shape so much of who you become as an adult, as much as you try to not let it do that. And, and even what you were saying, you were seeking those relationships, but then you knew what you wanted, but you were also, when you got it, you didn't know what to do with it because it's all the trauma that comes up and just starts to trigger you again, right? So I really love that aspect of your journey and how, well, the unconditional love, because that's why you are who you are today. And that's why you get to share what you're sharing with the world.
Yeah, and so the trauma therapy really helped. I healed my eating disorders and things like that. But then still found that when I got into a serious relationship with a person that I really liked, and they really liked me, and I thought, wow, this is it. I still started again to have some negative thoughts and doubts. Do they really love me? And to my friends, to my family, it was obvious. They're like, oh, he adores you. He worships you. He's there for you. He's just this. But there'll still be these anxieties about, am I sure? Am I sure? Am I sure? And just fear of being trapped, fear of being kind of duped. And so that's when I decided, okay, let me try something even deeper with trauma therapy, because I really find it helpful to go into the body to release past events. But I wanted to do it with plant medicine, and so I went off and I did a psilocybin mushroom retreat, and wow, it was just so fascinating how everything kind of fed together, and that the reason that I wasn't believing that he loved me was because I just couldn't believe that someone could love me. Deep down, I still had this core wound of, can someone really love me? Am I really lovable? And of course, if I'm having a conversation with someone, I say, of course, I'm confident. I'm doing well in my career. I'm this. I'm that. It was really hard to see how deep that was and how unaware that was still there in the surface. So the mushrooms really helped me to just see all of that and to see how I was loved by him. It was strange. I did 2 days with a therapist. So on the second journey, it was like I had a movie of my whole relationship, and it was showing me, see, these are all the times that he really loves you. See, these are, and it was just so amazing. And obviously it's my mind, letting go of all the fears, the neuroplasticity, because that's how mushrooms really work. They work on the mind, they work on the person in 3 ways. The first way that they work is they quiet the default mode network. And that's our part of our brain that is constantly remunerating. So constantly your obsessive thoughts, the repetitive thoughts, the things that you think on a daily basis. So it quiets that. It quiets anxiety. It quiets any doubts. And then because it quiets that, you're then able to access buried memories. You're able to access deep insights. You're able to see the truth. It calms the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. And it also works with neuroplasticity, which is where you get to make new neural pathways. And again, you break free from the set pathways of thinking. So for me, once I came back from that retreat, and it was a one-on-one retreat with a lady, I felt so different, and I could see things differently, and I felt differently. So that had a really dramatic impact on me. And that's why then I decided, right, I need to also combine with the somatic online trauma therapy that I do and relationship therapy. I need to combine psychedelics. And
Yeah.
because I work a lot with couples, I wanted to explore what would be the best medicine. And one of them was mushrooms. And then the other one I chose was San Pedro, which is a cactus.
Which is amazing. And I feel it's so important to highlight too what you shared was that the plant medicine's working on your own fears and your own, neuroplasticity, because I think a lot of people just expect, and it was funny, I interviewed someone and the first time he had ayahuasca, nothing happened. And he's like, what? Like, because he wasn't ready. And that's the beauty of plant medicine. It has that synergy and works with you because it's the energy of the plant mixing with your energy and allowing to show, like you said, your deepest fears and everything that was happening and showing you that contrast. And what a beautiful journey of showing that you are loved as well and being able to reflect that. And it's almost like the plants, I don't want to say it's like, I don't want to say this incorrectly, but it's almost like the plants help take down the blocks that your brain and your subconscious like to put in, really quickly that can take years and years and years and years to unpack. Whereas the plant medicine speeds it up to a point, but you really need to do it under the right conditions with the right facilitator and with the right mindset going in, where you're open and willing to change. Whereas if you're very think it's going to be a quick fix, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you can really fast track it, and that's the beauty of it. The only thing I would say though is you definitely need to have integration after. That's so important. You know, some people will
Yes.
go on a holiday or a retreat and they won't then integrate it. They have these powerful lessons and insights, and then they don't bring it into their daily life. How can I use this? What am I going to change? What am I going to say to people? You know, set boundaries for some people. How am I going to live differently? You know, for me, it was about coming back, creating a ritual in the morning for myself. It was about, you know, seeing all the good that my partner does and really cementing that relationship. It was, you know, having compassion when I'm triggered, and you know there's a lot of different things that I did, and that's what I love to help people with. When people come on our retreats, I give sort of 8 weeks integration support. So it's
Mm.
not just, okay, we've gone there, we've had a lovely experience and that's it. To make sure that you really can get the benefits.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up too, because I just ran a retreat and everyone was like, I said, yeah, I'm going to do follow up with you the week or two afterwards. And then we're all going to end up in a group together, because you need that support. And, when you go on a retreat, especially when you're working with plant medicine, you're not in reality. The triggers come when you go back to reality, and it's how well are you going to integrate those lessons that came through, because it comes down to your willingness to change and wanting to choose a different path for yourself, whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also it's just so important to do the preparation work as well before. Really know what you want to get out of it. Really be clear,
Mhm.
because the integration works if you've got that clear intention. If you know, like, I really will need to heal this. So that was one of the main things that I really wanted to heal. And then the other main thing that I really wanted to heal, which was really difficult for me to break and change, even with my trauma informed therapy background, and that was my addiction to work, my workaholism. So I knew, I knew for years, okay, that I work too much. I knew that, like, I feel good when I'm achieving. I feel good when I'm productive. I feel horrible if I'm late, what I would label lazy. Other people would say having a day off and relaxing, and that's normal, resting. And I really understood my patterns. I went to traditional talk therapy and I was like, "Oh, I really understand like why this is. It comes from, again, from my childhood, wanting to be seen, needing to achieve, feeling good when I'm achieving, distracting myself from uncomfortable emotions. And it was my security, because the reason that my mum was so stressed with us children is because my dad was in and out of jobs. We sometimes we didn't
Mm.
have enough even eating, and it was really difficult, and everything was blamed on the finances. So right from a really young age, I was so scared of not having money, so scared. So I thought the more I worked, the more I felt safe, and this was what I could rely on, this work. And then I knew I understood the patterns, but I couldn't shift it. And I would say, right, I am going to next week have 2 days off. And it would never happen. I would always find some excuse, some reason, I've got to do this or that. Or I'd take the day off and I'd be like, oh, I don't feel good. I felt restless. And so I did some trauma work on it. And again, that helped a little bit. But it wasn't until I then went and did my San Pedro training. So San Pedro is a cactus which you can get from Peru or in Ecuador. And it's a lovely, gentle, loved feeling medicine. So you love yourself, you love nature, you feel oneness with everything. And I went for that training retreat to be trained in it because I thought this is a great medicine for couples and it will help them to connect. So it's like a connecting medicine, connecting to yourself, connecting to nature, connecting to others. And in that was when I was able to heal this workaholic pattern, which I just thought, this is part of me, who I am. And I was beginning to just accept that I'll always feel bad, I'll always have to fight. Um, and this San Pedro, it was a training to work with people in the psychedelics and use this medicine. It was like an apprenticeship with a shaman, and it was wow. It really helped me to see again You can see these patterns logically, but when you actually feel them, I think that's the difference. When you're on the medicine, you feel it and you see it in complete crystal clear clarity, and that enables you then to shift. And then since then, I've been able to feel so much more peace, enjoying working less and taking time off and looking after myself and loving myself. Occasionally, very rarely though, but occasionally I do get these little voices, but I don't listen to them. You know, the little voices that say, "Oh, you're being lazy. Are you sure you're tired? You know, are you sure you can't?" You know, and I just laugh at them now.
It I when I was sticking my hand up before because I understand what that's like, because I used to run a company, and when I stepped away from that, it took me. Actually, it's only now, so it's like nearly 2.5 years later that I realized I don't have to book out my calendar every day to show that I'm busy or achieving something, and I don't have to be doing multiple things at once, and I don't have to, I don't have to do all those things. It's just this unrealistic expectations I put on myself and defaulted into because running a company was really time consuming, and the only way to get everything done was multitask like to everything,
Mm,
but then that's not good for your focus and your energy either. And that's why I ended up in burnout and adrenal fatigue and all the fun stuff with that.
mm,
And I feel it's such an important thing that you share too, that it's almost when we're high achievers, we have this guilt about resting. Like my coach tells me all the
mm,
time, he's like, Catherine, you need to rest. Go rest. And I'm like, okay. And the funniest things happen whenever I actually consciously choose to rest. Like I was sleeping on the lounge because I had a nap. I was like, oh no, I can't have a nap, but I'm really tired and I need a nap. And I woke up to money in my bank account. Like random money had come into my bank account and all these payments had come through. And I
wow,
was like, is this because I slept? And then it's
wow,
like, my coach is like, no, because you've done all the work. Now you just need to allow yourself to rest and receive and then I was on an interview the other morning and she was sharing, which I think is really beautiful. She said in her calendar every day, she puts in a schedule, like actually schedules in miracle moments so that she can allow
mm.
miracles to come in so she can receive them. So I was like, I'm going to do that on my calendar. That seems amazing. So that's on my calendar now. It's really nice to see time for miracles. I'm like, okay, great. I'll just let that happen.
Great.
And
So
just
that's your, like your rest time. You block that for rest.
exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
lovely.
And
Mm,
allowing that space, like you said, and it's almost like, I say like a recovering workaholic because you don't realize that you get
mm,
addicted to the stress. And for me, like when you said when you feel it, it was the only that contrast, whenever I would take time off, I would get unwell because my body was so addicted to needing that cortisol to keep functioning, and things like
mm.
that, like when you reflect on that. So I love that you found with the San Pedro that you found that you were able to see the love and the connection in that. And I love also that you went, I'm going to go do this because couples need to see that connectedness with each other too, which is a really beautiful contrast as well.
Yeah, I really love doing the couples work with the San Pedro because it helps individuals to connect to themselves. So normally I would let them to have a whole day on themselves on the medicine. And the thing I love about San Pedro is that it lasts for normally 12 hours. So
Wow.
you've got this loving, loved up feeling where you can view your whole life, you can feel your emotions, you can understand, interpret things, you can be creative, you can just have this day where you're just in awe of life and work through things. And you can, so it's great for an individual. And then it's coming together, and couples find that they can talk through things that when they've tried to talk about it in normal, situations, they'll just have resentment, defensiveness, blame, oh, you did this or you said that, but you did this to me 2 years ago. It's just the same kind of thing. Whereas on this medicine, they're really able to just be calm, to express. And it's because it takes away the fear of feeling your emotions. It takes away the fear of expressing your emotions. So it's a really great medicine. And it's also a great medicine for people that aren't sure about psychedelics, that's a little bit scared, a little bit afraid, or I don't want to alter my mind. I don't want to see visuals, because there's no visuals. And you are aware of who you are and where you are. You can go to the bathroom by yourself, with psilocybin. Sometimes you need to escort people to the bathroom and wait outside for them, kind of thing. And obviously ayahuasca is completely different. So I really like it because it's gentle as well, and couples can talk on it. They can, sometimes couples will talk slowly and talk through things, and sometimes they'll just lie there and hug, and they don't need to say anything because what they're feeling each other. It's really magical
Mm.
actually how it works. So
Uh,
yeah, I really
I
like
got
doing it.
goosebumps. I got goosebumps. And when you were sharing that, I just saw like a cactus, but it was all heart. Like it was just like this big heart.
Mm,
And it's almost like, um, what I'm kind of getting intuitively is that the medicine bypasses the ego, bypasses the brain, the logic, and it just takes everyone back to that heart centered feeling and connecting with that deeper levels. And when you have a conversation from there, when it's like full of love and heart connection and allowing your emotions to be heard and acknowledged, that is when you get movement. And that is when, like you said, you don't end up butting head. There's no blame, there's no shame. It's just like, oh, just acceptance and love and allowing the person to be who they need to be.
yeah, absolutely. Because when a couple, may have a conversation, they might say, "Well, you really upset me," and the person will be straight to, "Well, why are you upset by that?" Or "I didn't do this," or like straight defend and with this, it's like, wow, how did I do that? Curiosity, openness, really wanting to help, really feeling on their face, in their heart. So yeah, it's powerful, and the fact that it lasts so long as well. It's a great healing medicine, and it's amazing that these medicines are there. They're not manufactured. They're there. They really help people to heal. And now people are using psychedelics for addiction, for chronic pain, for burnout, for creativity, for relationships. They have so many wonderful benefits. So they're a great complement to therapy for those who would like to go deeper. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how you said that too. It's a complement to therapy because if you're not willing to do the other work on both sides of it, like you said, stepping in with a clear intention and then also having that integration on the other side, then it's almost like a band-aid approach, right? Like it's not going to actually
Mm.
serve it will show you things, but if you're not willing to do the work and go deeper and help integrate that, then it's not going to have those lasting implications like you've had in your life. And I'm sure your clients have had too, because you create your systems and your retreats so that they have that ongoing support afterwards.
Yeah, and there are some people that are like, I don't want to do the therapy, I don't want to do the work. I'm just going to go and do ayahuasca. They're like, that'll help, and it's like, well, I don't know where they're getting that message from. It may help for a short while, or they might be scared or panicked. But you know, unless you're willing to do the work, which means look at your patterns, look at your beliefs, look at where it comes from, create structures for yourself to make helpful changes after, change your boundaries, whatever it is. Nothing's really going to change. So
Yeah.
yeah, and some people,
Agree.
they have experiences which they don't understand at all, and that you really need to support. If you're in that kind of situation, working with a coach, even if you didn't go to their retreat, to try and unpick it, because it works in symbols. It's just like our dreams. If we believed all of our dreams, I mean, gosh, I'd be scared stiff. There were some of my dreams, and other dreams I'd be like, what? So sometimes it's really important to get that help, especially if you're confused.
Exactly. And, sometimes my coach said to me, a mirror can't see herself. And sometimes it's really
Yeah.
nice to have someone outside to get that other perspective to help you weave it all together and pull it all together. It's great when you can have those insights yourself, but sometimes it's nice to also have someone supporting you and challenging you to keep moving you through that rather than getting stuck on, like you said, some sort of symbolism or getting stuck on one aspect of it where it might be that's just one aspect and you need the bigger picture to step back from.
Yeah, and I think even with not regular therapy as well, I go and get support because I can't see things in my relationship. I'm in it, so it's so hard to see things objectively. And when you're working through something individually, it's lovely to have that empathetic witness and someone to validate you, and it really is powerful. And that's why I think it's quite scary that people are going to AI now for relationships, all their relationship support, all their conversations, and having sort of even romantic connections with on the AI side, because that human connection and human support is so powerful in healing, because a lot of our hurt, a lot of our pain comes from our first relationships.
If you would like to get in touch with Nicola and connect with her, you can go check out her website, which is many websites. But the first one is nicolabeer.com. There's also, if you want to work at her, check out her relationship revival podcast. It's podcast.nicolabeer.com. And then she also has plantmedicinepower.com as well. Otherwise, you can check out her social media, which is you can find her on LinkedIn, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram and Facebook is Nicola Beer Official, and LinkedIn is Nicola Beer. And I'll make sure to put all those details in the show notes. Now, if Nicola could heal or change something in the world, it would that more people could feel their shared humanity and the deep interconnectedness of all life. When we truly see ourselves in one another, then kindness becomes a way of life rather than just an exception or an act. So thank you so much to Nicola for being part of this episode, and I look forward to the next one where we'll see you all again soon. Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.